All right, time to bring in NBC's Alice Barr from Washington, D.C. And Alice, the government is back open, but now the real fighting is about to come up over the ACA subsidies. We heard from Speaker Johnson and Democratic leader Jeffries over drawing those battle lines. Take us through the next steps in this argument.
Yes, so you're right to note that the Affordable Care Act subsidies that are expiring at the end of the year, they have been central to this entire shutdown fight. It's what Democrats held out for 43 days before that deal hatched among moderates in the Senate that got us to this point. So Republicans are saying that now that the government is reopened, they are ready to have those negotiations about what to do to lower health care costs, because both parties agree that health care costs have gotten out of control. Democrats think the way to fix it, at least in the short term, is to extend these subsidies before they expire at the end of the year, sending premiums spiking, doubling, tripling in some cases for people who are on Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. Republicans have long been opposed to Obamacare, no secret there, and they have been frustrated by feeling like they're being saddled with the blame for having these spikes in premiums coming up because of a program that they never wanted to exist and that many of them just don't think that it works. So they don't want to sign on and kind of double down on Obamacare. But what's the alternative is not clear, particularly because we're so close now to this deadline. President Trump has been speaking about the idea of sending money directly to Americans, but details there are thin, and it's just not clear what can be worked out in the next 11 weeks before funding expires again.
Looking to hear more on that. All right, when President Trump signed the package last night, he accused the Democrats of extortion. Do we expect the president to be active in the upcoming health care debate?
Yeah, he's been a little bit behind the scenes up to this point, but was saying that because he kept saying, no, Democrats need to just reopen the government and then we'll talk. You have to reopen the government first. So now they have. So it does seem, according to what the president has been saying, that this would be the moment for him to step forward. And I just mentioned this, that he's been floating this idea of sending something like $2,000 direct payments to Americans, which would be paid for through dividends from tariff revenues. That's how he's framing it. And he says Americans could then take that money and go out and buy their own health care. But details are very thin, and a number of administration officials have in fact come out and said that this shouldn't be viewed as some kind of well-formed policy concept, that right now it's brainstorming and it's trying to come up with a way to kind of put the power in Americans' hands directly to decide what they want to do for their health care, rather than having the insurance companies being central and being kind of the brokers that are making all of the decisions. So if the president and his advisors can come up with a more fleshed out version of what that would look like, then I think that's where he would kind of take a little more center stage and try to propose that as an alternative and do his, making a deal kind of central mediator role.
All right, Alice, we have 11 weeks now. What's the likelihood we could see another shutdown as funding expires?
Yeah, it's entirely possible, and it is entirely dependent on how much progress is made in the intervening weeks on a solution on health care. And those insurance premiums are going to increase at the start of the year under Obamacare. So at that point, Democrats may say, we have real-world evidence here that this is hurting Americans, and may use that to wage this battle again with potentially more pressure on Republicans this time. But again, Republicans do not think that's the right avenue, so getting them to double down on something that they've never wanted is going to be a tough fight. And at the end of January, we could be back in the same position.
All right, Alice, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.